Hello chess fans and welcome to Chess 5, and today we are going to see a fantastic game between Alireza Firouza versus Richard Rapport. Both the players are very strong, one of the top best in the world, and the game is from the Norway Chess 2021, played in 17 September yesterday. The game is just very epic. The game is still in defense, and after watching the game, you will love the game, how White played the game. And okay, Black also played very well, but let's see the game. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Chess Up. So Alireza Firouza with the white pieces started the game with 1 e4, and Richard Rapport with the black pieces replied with c5. We have knight f3, knight c6, and after knight c6, the usual way to play the Sicilian defense is to play d4 and playing the open Sicilian. But Alireza Firouza decided to play the Rosolimo attack by playing bishop to b5. Richard played knight to f6, hitting the pawn, while defended it by playing knight c3. We have knight to d4, and the idea of knight d4 in the position here the knight is attacking the bishop as well as the knight and asking white, do you want to capture my knight? And if white tries to capture black knight, but after scene to d4, knight e2, black can play e5 and black is already having an edge. Black is able to equalize the position, which white doesn't want in the opening. That's why Alireza Firouza didn't go on for the capture and he played simply e5. And now he's also attacking the knight on f6. So black played knight into b5 and Alireza simply captured the knight on b5. If Alireza would have captured the knight on f6, we have knight into c3 and now we have f into g7. Black cannot capture the queen because white will capture the rook and miss queen. So after bishop into g7, d into c3, black is able to equalize the position and black is even slightly better. So that's why it's definitely not a good idea for white to play the game. That's why at the place of capturing the knight on f6, he decided to capture the knight on b5. We have knight to d5, castle, a6, hitting the knight and saying, okay, just go back to c3. But white simply played c4. Interesting. After c4, white saying, okay, I'm also hitting your knight and you are also hitting man. So let's grab the knight. So after playing c4, Richard played knight to b4, which was the right reply. If he would have captured the knight, after c into d5, white is having a very strong center, which is definitely become a trouble for black in the future. That's why at the place of capturing the knight, he decided to play knight to b4. We have knight c3, d6, and now we have d4 by Firouza. So Firouza has just simply tried to open up the position. And okay, there are many options. Black can capture the pawn on d4, black can capture the pawn on e5. So in the game, we have c into d4. If Richard would have captured the pawn on e5, then after d5, white is already better in the position because white pawn on d5 is very strong and white is already attacking the pawn on e5. So if black tries to defend the pawn on e5 by playing f6, then after a3, the knight is dead on b4. Black knight is not having a single square to go. Every square is just simply covered. So that's why at the place of capturing the pawn on 5, black decided to capture the pawn on d4. And after knight into d4, all those who are playing the this position first time would perhaps try to capture the pawn with the knight or play something else. But Alireza Firouza simply captured the d4 pawn with the queen. Now that's something. After knight d4, the most obvious move looks the position is to play knight to c2, which was played by Richard Rapport. And after knight c2, black knight is simply attacking the queen on d4 as well as the rook on a1. So white played queen e4. We have knight into a1, and after bishop f4, although black is going to lose the knight, but still, from black perspective, I think black is already an exchange plus. So then black should winning the game. But according to agents, that the position is equal. So that's the beauty. I think this position is played many times in the future. In the past, that's why both players were playing the best move according to the engine. So that's why the engine sees that it's an equal position. And all those who are playing this game first time looks definitely looks like perhaps black is better because black is an exchange plus. Even he loses knight on a1. So after bishop f4, we have bishop to e6 by black. Rook into a1, and now we have rook c8. So here black is planning to capture the pawn on c4. And here white played knight to d5. And now the idea of white is to simply capture the pawn on d6. And white would be simply better. So that's why black decided to capture the pawn on e5. Now we have knight into e5. And now we have f6. Very nice move by Richard Rapport. Knight went back to f3. We have bishop into d5. C into d5. Rook to c5. So there is now double attack on the pawn on d5. And Firouza simply push the pawn to d6. And here you can't capture the pawn with the queen because the bishop is protecting the. You cannot capture the pawn with the pawn because the pawn is pinned. So it's already pretty hard to play with the black pieces. But Richard Rapport still find the best move by playing queen d7. Very nice. We have b4 by Firouza, rook c6, rook to e1, and after rook e1, white have successfully got all his pieces into the game. And if I talk about black pieces, every piece is just very bad. So it definitely looks like, or logically speaking, it looks like, if I talk about positional, then definitely white is winning. But as black is an exchange up, that's why the engine shows that it's an equal position. So after rook e1, black played king f7. At the place of king f7, the best move would have been to play in the position is to e5. After e5, can you find the best move for white in the position? This is the question number 1. So take your own time and try to find the best move for white in the position. So okay, so I hope that we have found the best move, and if you found the best move, the move bishop into e5, congratulations, this is the best move. And the idea of playing bishop into e5 here is, if black tries to capture the bishop, you will simply capture the pawn with the knight, you are hitting the queen, you are hitting the rook, and even you can move the knight anywhere because there would be a critical discover attack on the king. So it's already completely lost for black. But the idea of the bishop into e5 here is, here black will not capture the bishop, but at the place of capturing the bishop, he will play king to d8. This is the right. After king d8, white will play a4 because black can still never capture the bishop because after knight into e5, it's still completely losing for black. So that's why after a4, black will play bishop into d6. After b5, rook c7, bishop into d6, queen into d6, b into a6, queen into a6, knight to d4. Idea is to play knight to e6, and it looks like it's completely winning for white perhaps. But black can play queen c4, knight to e6 check, king c8, knight into c7, queen into e4, rook into e4, and here rook d8 trying to give a backline mate to white. So white have to play h4, and after king into c7, the position is equal. So this is the whole line by which the position will just get equal. But definitely finding e5, just this whole variation is definitely very hard to find on the board. That's why after rook e1, Richard Rapport went king f7. After king f7, white played knight to d4. Now hitting the rook on c6. We have e5, queen d5 check, and after queen d5 check, this is your second question. Where will you put the king? So the king is having two squares. Whether you put the king on e8 or whether you will put the king on g6. It's your choice. So feel free to pause the video and think your second question. Try to find the best move for black in the position. So okay. So I hope that you have found right move. All those who are thinking, let's play king g6. This was played by Richard Rapport, and this is actually the wrong move by black. Because you are already exposing the king by putting the king on g6. best move according to the black is to play king to e8. And the idea of here, by playing king e8, you want to just get away from the e8 square by you want the king to be on g8, so that would be the perfect square for the black. And if you try to play king g6, you're already exposing the king, so that makes no sense at all. But king g6 was played by Richard Rapport. All those work found king e8. Congratulations. King g6 was played, and after king g6, Alireza Firouza is just completely winning. He just started with the critical blow. So this is your third question. Try to find the best move after king g6. How will you over the game for the black? This is a very strong move. So take your own. So okay, so I hope that you have found the right move according to white. So the right move according to white here is a very epic move, which is bishop into e5. And definitely bishop into e5 looks the most natural move as well, because the pawn was attacking both the pieces, so it's better to capture the pawn. All who have found the move, congratulations. So after bishop into e5, black played rook into d6. If you try to capture the bishop, hoping that perhaps queen and rook will capture it, no. If white tries to capture the pawn, it's actually a drawish game, because rook into d6, it's completely drawish. But after f into e5, white is having a very secret move, which is knight to f3. A very powerful move. After knight f3, the idea is to simply capture the pawn on e5 and just give a check, and it's a triple fork, so you cannot avoid it. So that's why it's completely avoided. If you try to capture the pawn on d6, I'm going to simply play knight into e5. And if you try to move the king, I'm having g4 check, king f6, queen f7 check, king g5, queen f5 check, and it doesn't matter where will you go. I'm going to play king queen h5 checkmate. So that way, it doesn't matter where will you put the king. It will definitely lead to checkmate. So the best move according to the black here is to sacrifice the queen for the knight. But after queen into e5, it's completely win. And after knight to f3, even if you try to capture the d6 pawn with the bishop, after knight into e5 check, I'm hitting your queen as well as the king, and you cannot capture the knight because the queen is still hanging. So that is why white was simply winning. So that's why after bishop into e5, black didn't capture the bishop, but he played rook into d6. We have bishop into d6, bishop into d6, and we have queen e5, queen e4 check, king f7. We have queen d5 check, king g6. Now we have g3 balance. After g3, if I count material, it definitely looks like the position is equal. Both the sides are having the equal material. But the only problem black is facing in the position here is this bit. The bishop cannot move because the queen is hanging, and the queen cannot move because the bishop is hanging. So that is the problem which we are going to see. After g3, black played h6 so that there would be some space for the king to run away. After h6, white played simply rook d1. Idea is to move the knight, and this will be a double attack, and it's simply game over for black. So black played rook to e8. If black tries to move the queen, like somewhere to c7 to protect the bishop as well. And if white tries to move the knight, he will move the bishop. But after queen c7, white is going to play this knight to e6 move, hitting the queen, and also the bishop is out. And if you, even at the place of queen c7, if you try to play this queen e7, I can still play knight f5, hitting both the bishop as well as the queen, and it's game over for black. So that's why after rook d1, black played rook e8. We have knight f3. We have rook e6, just defending the bishop. But after knight h4 check, king h7, queen d3 check, and after king h8, knight f5, and it's game over for black. So that's after queen d3 check. On the move number 32, Richard Rapport with the black pieces resigned the game, and Alireza Firouza with the white pieces won the game. The reason is very simple. After king h8, white is going to play knight f5, and the bishop is dead. You cannot protect the bishop, and it's completely winning for white. That is why Richard Rapport resigns the game by playing queen d3 after the move number queen d3 check. The game was very epic, played by both the players, but Reza Firouza preparation was just epic. Just look at the play. He sacrificed the rook on the move number. Let's check it out once. Yep. On the move number 12, he simply sacrificed the rook. And after sacrificing the rook, we can see the power of development. He simply crushed black position and he simply won the game. So this was the epic game played by Alireza Firouza versus Richard Rapport. So all those who loved the game, please like to the video. And if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel. Make sure of it. Uh, I'm going to come up with these new videos for you. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching. Cheers.